Coach, just what do you think of the team's ability to come back and respond the way that they did in the second half?
Definitely a second half response. I think we're down 7.5. Easy to get frustrated, especially because you're not scoring the basketball or the offense just was clunky. They're top 5 defense. They make it really hard to score. But we stuck with it. And even there to start the third quarter, it wasn't looking good. The first couple, they widened the gap. Thought we got back in it. They called a timeout. We responded from their timeout, which I thought was a big growth. To put it into the fourth quarter and then make enough plays down the stretch to get the win.
And then just looking at Devin, he only had 2 points in the first half, came out in that third quarter, dropped 13 there. What allowed him to kind of get going and just what you saw from his ability to stick with it?
Just that, really good players, superstars, they find a way. No matter what, we have ultimate confidence in him. He has ultimate confidence in himself. It was a great second half. We needed all of it.
Coach, what do you make of Dylan getting called for a flagrant 1 after review and what subsequently happened after that?
I thought Barry was going to ask. He prefaced it in the pregame. He set us up. You asked Dwayne to ask? Yeah. Yeah, we love everything about Dylan. That edge, that competitive spirit, he's the fire starter in all that we do. We follow his lead. We just got to get to the edge and not go over. We need him in the game. But again, his first half offensive really helped us when we were in the mud. We can't really get any type of advantage on that defense. I thought offensively he was really good in that first half. And then I thought even in the third quarter at times, his pressure, his ball pressure really helped us. And then down the stretch, obviously, we need to go to the edge and not go over.
And just a follow with Goodwin, someone that he plays through whatever. And with the jaw and just him, offensive rebound, you've been preaching it all year. And for him to get one at that moment, what would that mean if they obviously didn't hit the free throw?
Huge. Great trust in Goody being in there, obviously, and the game, tight game. Love everything he's about, what he brings every single day. His spirit really helps our group. And then we wanted to take the last shot, and we were going to crash. Take the last shot. We knew they didn't have a timeout. We were going to crash the glass. Great patience by Book in that when they were trying to double team and get it out of his hands. Shot goes up, and we're going to crash, and we got one, and Goody was able to knock it in for the win.
Jordan, to continue on with Jordan Goodwin, there was an early play in the fourth quarter. You guys double team Jimmy after it was matchup hunting and Colin, and Goody ends up with the wall up at the rim. Can you just kind of speak to some of those blue collar qualities that he shows that helps to get a spark for you all?
The loose balls, deflection, anything down in the paint or along the ground, I feel like he's going to come up with it. Sometimes that second unit has to be that. We have to win the possession game when he's out there, especially with that second unit when Book is off the floor and Dylan's off the floor and Mark is off the floor. So, he's smaller in height, but he's able to guard down in the post. We had him multiple times matched up with Steph and Jimmy. Great confidence in him all over the floor, on the perimeter and down low. Love everything that he's about. He's obviously had a great year, but him to play 30 minutes against the Golden State Warriors says a lot about who he is as a player and how he's grown even in his couple months here.
And then you always mention it's all about how you respond over the course of games. Colin has the second half that he did. Some of the things he did on offense, you talked about him engaging opposing fives, doing that with the dribble, and then on the defensive end, just holding up against the matchup hunting the teams do. That resilience that he has in tandem with players like Goodwin off the bench, how does that just help for you all to navigate these games where it's a muddy one, and you need a spark, and they're able to kind of bring it for you?
Colin could have easily sat that one out. You get knee to knee, brutal, in transition, guy, athlete, coming downhill, knee to knee, in transition, full speed. And then all of a sudden he pops back out, put him right in the game, and he makes an instant impact. And it's not only just the ability offensively to get into the paint, but you see a couple of loose balls, the steals, they almost dunk, those types of plays he just makes. He's just a winning basketball player. So love having that group out there. And again, I think it was the start of the fourth, no book on the floor. We were able to get a little gap, so that helps us a ton.
Hi there, Coach. Speaking of Colin, I mean, he did have that knee-to-knee contact. Is there any worry about him? Do you have any update about, what happened in that part of the game?
Yeah, no update. That's one of those things that you have to assess in the morning to see exactly how it feels. We have pretty quick turnaround, but if I'm betting that if Colin will be out there, I would imagine he will be. That he came right back out, right on the floor. He'll take care of his body. Really tough dude. I have no doubt that he'll probably be back out there on the next game.
Coach, Oso with 13 boards tonight, 5 steals. Just kind of curious for you what the decision was to stick with him as opposed to Mark Williams for this game, and sort of how you were able to ride the momentum with him throughout the late stretch.
He played a long stretch, I think, in that second half. It's just a little bit of matchup, a little bit of feel. Quentin Post out there. We'd like to switch as much as we can against those guys. Also can play on the perimeter, and if he obviously helped us defensive rebounding. He's a possession gainer. The 5 steals is massive. We've been on him about taking the ball, not only switching, but defensively being in front and taking the ball, which he's shown great growth since the middle of November. So, yeah, that was tonight. You never know what will happen the next night. It might be Mark the next night. Tonight was Oso's night.
Then for Dylan, he had that 4th foul in the 4th, but you kept him in. He was able to play through while still being physical. Just kind of curious what goes into defending at that level and still being physical, but not fouling, sort of walking the fine line of, being physical, but also not fouling as well.
Yeah, I think that just comes from experience. I think you see some of our younger guys. There's some growth with Oso and Ryan in that area over the course of the season. It's just you got to navigate. You got to know exactly how many fouls you have, how the game is officiated. I thought Dylan, even in the second quarter, he might have had an extra, and then where they went to the monitor, that could have been a 4th. Again, he plays to that line. He plays to that edge. We need him on the court. Thankfully, he didn't pick up an extra one.
Last 2, Greg and Tom.
Sure, thanks. Coach, wanted to ask you more about the physicality. I mean, there were a bunch of plays, right? Also, there was a screen at the end of the first quarter on Melton right before Gillespie's jumper. Little stuff like Ryan Dunn, when he goes up to block a shot, he gets called for a foul, but he kind of makes it a point to land on top of the guy he fouled. There was one where Curry got called. They called a foul on Curry on a layup, but the shot was missed, and Devin goes crashing right into Jimmy Butler to contest the rebound. Just can you speak to the attitude that your team has and the physicality up and down the roster and how that's going to help you guys out?
Good question. That's who these guys are. I think that's who they are. We want a physical game. We're okay playing that style. That's who we want to be about. Again, that's the leaders of the team. They play that way. The book to go in there, crashing in there, to try to almost get himself going. I felt in the third quarter he really tried to make an emphasis to get to the rim. That's who they are. And, it's been a rallying cry for this group, just how physical, how we want to play with that grit, with that edge, with that toughness. And you play these teams that have been through it. These guys have been through it. And to be in an atmosphere, again, night after night with these types of teams, we're only going to grow from this. It's great experience for our young guys out there. Colin hasn't played a ton of games. Also, again, second-year player. To be in those arenas, as I like to call it, like be in the arena, grow, take the heat, grow, good and bad, grow. That's what we want to do over the course of the 82-game season.
Coach, entering the second half, Jimmy Butler had 16 points, and a lot of those were inside the paint, like you mentioned, and this team, they really find the paint with a lot of the screens, but then you seemingly made a defensive adjustment where, double teaming the paint, making them take tough shots, and then that really opened up your transition on offense. How did you see that play out throughout the entire second half, and, how did that change the momentum of the game for you guys?
It starts with the 16 steals. Those live ball turnovers enable you to get in transition. Some nights your offense just isn't great. Again, they're a really good defensive team. We don't want to play half-court offense against that defense, so we got to find another way. You know, can we get on the glass? Can we get in transition? I agree. I think our transition offense was fueled by getting the stops on the defensive end, and some nights it's like that. So it takes us a minute to really figure it out. Even I think passing the ball ahead just to get some speed into it, especially in that third quarter, it felt like that. But to win a game where you shoot 28% against a really good team, you got to find another way, and I thought transition really helped us.